Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. But it's been a crazy, crazy week. It seems like every week it gets just a bit more bizarre out there. I don't know about you, but I feel like reality went somewhere else, somewhere I don't recognize. We've lost reality completely. Some days I just grab my head and think, what on earth? Well, this show is brought to you by an organization called Million Kids, Million, millionkids.org, not .com. That's a rock band, so you're probably not going to be fond of them. So millionkids.org. And our role in life, we've been doing it about 15 years. Our motto is keeping kids safe from predators. We educate, we train, we're into prevention, we're into intervention. We work with the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force, so we support the sheriff and the district attorney in Riverside County on crimes, child sex crimes. And combating them, and as well as over in San Bernardino. Now, I have no formal connection to them, but we've done a lot of work back and forth, and I'm very, very proud of all of the law enforcement and prosecutors in the Inland Empire that are doing what it takes to be tough on crimes, especially crimes related to child sex crimes, and that just means a lot to me. I don't know about you, but it seems like the whole world is just upside down. And right is not right any longer. It's questionable at best, and in some cases it's determined to be wrong. And I say our society is going to pay a price for that. Well, I want to announce a couple of things, and I want to share something with you. And then we're going to talk about algorithms on social media and how it's used by bad guys to target our children. There's been a lot of articles in the news in the last couple of weeks, and many of you have written to me and said, would you address this issue? And I'd be glad to. I've been doing it actually for several years and educating law enforcement and the public about how all of this works. Before I get started, though, I want to announce that I am going to be doing a public event this coming Monday night, June 26th at 6:30, and it is open to the public. You are welcome to come. I think they're asking for a donation of $20, but it is a donation. If you don't have it, don't let that slow you down. It is put up together by an organization called Stand Up Riverside. Now, I believe that they have a political orientation, and I don't normally do those types of events because protecting children has no respect for persons. They don't care what your politics are. But I have supported the other side, if you will. And so I had a friend ask me if I would talk about legislation that is taking place in California and what can be done to protect our children, and also what families can do to protect their own children. It seems like there's just an onslaught of causes and people and ideas and thinking out there that at every turn is going against our children. And I said that I would. Now, you don't have to be in Riverside to attend. You can be from Yucaipa, San Bernardino, Upland, Temecula. You can be anywhere you want to. If you want to come, you are welcome to come. I don't do a lot of local public speaking lately because I'm just so busy trying to train other organizations, first responders and people like that. But I do, as most of you know, handle real cases, and I sit with parents. I do interventions on there. I try to help a kid that's in deep, deep trouble keep from doing something stupid. So if you want to attend, it's Monday night at the 26th at 6:30 at the Dale Senior Center in 3936 Chestnut Street in Riverside, and that is Monday night, 6:30. You can find all of that again at millionkids.org. And if you didn't have a pen and want to write it down, I'll make myself say it again at the end of the show. So I also wanted to add something before I go into something that's very negative, which much of what I look at is very negative. I saw something this week that made my heart feel good. And I'm going to tell this is risky for me to do this. I don't endorse any political candidates. I try not to get political in my talk. I try not to go any one direction because I want everybody, regardless of what your political orientation is, to support keeping kids safe from predators. But there is a candidate out there for president who I don't even know how to pronounce his name, let alone know anything about him. It looks like Vivek Ramaswamy or something like that. I'll just call him Ram because I'm really bad at his name. But he posted something that really made my heart feel good. I haven't heard this kind of thing for a long time. Now, I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't know this man if I met him on the street. I don't know who he is, what he stands for, other than these things he posted. But he said there is only one truth, and that is the reality. And he posted these statements on him. Just want to share it with you. He wouldn't know me from Adam, so, he doesn't know I'm doing this. But I loved it. It just so seldom do we get this kind of powerful, straightforward, let's be real kind of thing. Here you go. Number 1, God is real. 2, there are 2 genders. 3, human flourishing requires fossil fuels. 4, reverse racism is racism. Let me say that again. Reverse racism is racism. I can't even say it. An open border is no border. Boy, I'd go along with that one because that's part of the human trafficking problem in Southern California. Parents determine the education of their children. Hallelujah. Isn't this refreshing? The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind. Capitalism lifts people up from poverty. That's very true. There are 3 branches of the U.S. government, not 4, and the U.S. Constitution is the strongest guarantor of freedoms in history. Now, I kind of butchered some of that, but I loved it, and I wanted to share it with you because we need something to feel good about. And I don't know this man from Adam, but he's nailed it right off the bat. God is real. And once we start playing the game like we saw over at the Dodger Stadium, it makes your stomach turn. We have got to get back to basics, and I agree very, very strongly. Parents should determine the education of their children. So with that, I want to get started because there's all kinds of stuff in the news that you all have been writing to me about, and I want to address it. Now, I'm going to tell you that there are parts of this show, because I'm going to address it, that if you have very young children in your car listening to this or somewhere, then you might want to have them, go play baseball or something, whatever it is kids do these days. Anyway, headline came out this last week. Instagram algorithm boosts vast pedophile network, alarming report claims. Now, that's nothing new to me. I've been talking about this kind of thing for a very long time. And in fact, I have so much of it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it all in this show. And if that's a problem, I'll continue on in the next week on talking about this. But it is absolutely true that all games, online gaming, all apps, all dating sites, all chat rooms, all use algorithms. Now, you're hearing the term AI out there. Yes, they combine AI with algorithms to, and in many cases, make your children available to pedophiles. When you put that kind of process out there, it's going to be used for good, like when I do searching and try to find information to educate you, but as anything that can be used for good can also be used for bad. Now, what they're really trying to do is get these companies to run their algorithms because they can, and they could have all along, and search out for indicators that there is some sort of child pedophilia going on with that particular algorithm, and deal with it and run the IP addresses, identify the pedophiles and like that. Well, that is starting to happen. Actually, National Center for Missing Exploited Children in the year 2021 actually processed more than 24.9, or was it 23.9 million possible reports of this kind of thing. Now, those are not all parents calling in. It is because finally apps are running their algorithms, and they are appalled to find out that there's only almost 21 million instances of potential child pornography online. That ought to blow your mind. This is Opal Singleton. We're up against that break, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of eating at the same old restaurants? Let me tell you about a fabulous Italian restaurant we found in Riverside, Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant. Their caprese salad is exquisite with candied balsamic glaze. All of their sauces are special recipes using only the best olive oils. The salads are fresh and healthy. They offer a wonderful array of pastas, including shrimp scampi, capellini, bolognese, and lasagna. They're famous for their gourmet pizza, and you can order online for takeout or have a special date for dining in with family and friends. Mamma Mia's caters special occasions and hosts private events. You have to try it out. Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant, located at 10971 Magnolia Avenue in Riverside, 1 block north of La Sierra on Magnolia. That's Mamma Mia's in Riverside. Be sure to tell Michael, Alex, or Joseph you heard it on AM 590 The Answer.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the 4 most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. I am the host of your show. And many of you wrote to me or talked to me in person when I ran into somewhere. And by the way, I just want you to know how much it means to me. You know, I don't think of myself as like knowing a lot of people, although I do know a lot of people now that I think about it. But when you do a radio show, you basically go on the air and look at a screen and say what you're going to say. And it isn't like you're doing this large audience speech where people can interact with you. So I have a tendency to do what I do and walk away and not realize all of you that are out there. And in the last week, I met a bunch of you, and what a pleasure. What a pleasure. You folks are great folks. The people that listen to this show are people who care, and they want to make a difference, and they want to be informed, and they want to be good parents and grandparents. And golly, what a pleasure that is to interact with you. I do take email, by the way. I'm always behind because I have 7 email addresses, and I do a lot of public speaking. But if you want to write to me, you can at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. I do my own answering, by the way. I'm not elite enough to have somebody fill in. So it may take me a bit. That doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I'm going in a lot of directions. Okay, enough already. I want to talk about this article, Instagram algorithm boosted vast pedophile network alarming reports. This came out June 7th in the New York Post. And just prior to that, there had been an article on same day. Oh, interesting. By the Washington Post. Meta starts task force in fight against child pornography on Instagram. Well, that's interesting. There you go. Depends on which one you read. But let me tell you how this works, because I've been talking about this for a long time. So why do pedophiles, first of all, why is there a vast pedophile network? That's the first thing I want to answer. And then how are they using your kids' social media to form an algorithm, if you will, or a online profile of you based on your child's AI or your AI? So, think about how Instagram works. And by the way, Instagram's no different than Grindr or TikTok or Discord or Roblox or any of the others, Kick, all of those that are out there. So on Instagram, what happens is you do a post and you do it by hashtag. So they've created literally millions of hashtags that are out there that you can post to, and you can do your own. And so when that happens, you are putting your posting in a particular point of interest, for lack of a better term. And so if you're a pedophile and you're online and you're wanting to connect and see young kids you might be able to seduce, or, images of babies and young kids that are in a particularly nude position, for lack of another term, or illicit position, although you may not see it that way, that it'd be illicit, but you may just see your cute little baby having a bath. But when they're posted under particular hashtags. And people that are into abusing children, violating children, collecting images of children that are, in their mind, erotic, they prey on that. So I've written a previous book, actually, before it's over, we'll talk about both of my books, but my latest book is called Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls. And it's all about the impact of how the entire world is changing our lives, especially when it's related to access to your children. So in 2022, the entire world was connected by 5G, high-speed internet, right? And so that's cool for you. Lately I've been talking to my friends in Scotland and Lisbon and Ireland and like that. And so it is cool to be connected to the entire world. But it also means that bad guys have a venue to come together. And the phenomena that has taken place over the last 5 or 10 years is that bad guys, so let's just substitute in the word pedophile, but to keep it friendly, I'm going to use the word bad guys. They go online and they share their fetishes. They share their interests. They share their, erotic interests. And it is just disgusting to people who are not into that, because it's our children. You can imagine, for me, that's what drives me on. I believe no child should ever be exploited. And if we can do something so that our children do not get exploited, especially online, then that's why I get up every morning. That's why I wrote the book. I wanted parents to understand that a world without borders for your kids is also a world without borders for pedophiles. And one of the things that goes on here is very few conversations about who they are and why are they connecting to your children, and where do those photos go if your child should send a photo. And that's where I wrote the book, Societal Shift. By the way, it is available at millionkids.org, and it's also available on Amazon. It might be on Barnes & Noble, too. I can't remember. I haven't been there for a while. But anyway, Societal Shift. So what is happening is pedophiles find each other, and it changes their addiction. Not only are they satisfying a particular fetish or addiction, they are sharing it with others. They form large-scale groups, sometimes in the dark web, sometimes in peer-to-peer networks, sometimes in what they call bulletproof hosting. That is where you have a server that's in one of the countries that doesn't ask questions, like Russia and China, and or Iceland or Philippines, and they then build large-scale networks. I've known of some that have had 200,000 pedophiles together, 200,000 bad guys. One of them actually had 1 million paid subscribers. Now, there is an interest in getting the photo because not only does that satisfy whatever they're dealing with personally from an addiction point of view, but they can share it with their friends. And in fact, if they're going to be part of that group, there is a requirement that they share a large number of photos for their friends. So that is why they are on a quest to get your child's photo. For your child to go online and not understand this process is really putting your child in danger, because they need to know that they are going to get a lot of opportunity to share a photo with someone they've never met that they believe is some gorgeous hunk or some cute little 14-year-old girl. And they will be nailed. And we're going to talk over the next couple of sessions here about how that works, because we now have this whole new phenomena of deep fakes where your child doesn't send a photo, but they chop the head. They take a photo online and chop the head off of that photo and put it on a naked body. And they still go about blackmailing your child, even if your child never sent a naked photo. So there's all kinds of ways that this happens. And that's why I want to do these shows, so that you can see how this works. So there are algorithms that they use, and it goes by hashtag. So I have a slide in front of me that I normally use for training, and I'll just read you some of them. Here, kid bikini, toddler bikini, toddler bath time fun, potty training time. You get the idea. And these pedophiles go on to those hashtags in the hopes of being able to get a photo that they can either share with other people that they might consider erotic, or they can make that into a deep fake, meaning they can alter that photo and make it so that they can submit it to the group. So that is what is going on in this headline: Instagram algorithm boosts vast pedophile network. And so I'll just read you a little bit of it. It's linked and even promoted a vast pedophile network that advertises sale of illicit child sex material on the platform. They give some hashtags, which I can't really say on here, but so we'll leave that. They directed users to accounts that offer to sell certain kinds of materials. They have menus of content, including videos of children harming themselves or committing acts of bestiality. Buyers to commission specific acts. They arrange meetups. We're going to talk about that in a minute with your chat rooms. So we reached out to the Post for comment. This is the article. They said that the parent company has since restricted thousands of additional search terms and hashtags or Instagram. They've set up an internal task force to investigate the claims. The company said that they have deleted more than 490,000 accounts. We're up against that break. Be with me. Be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator.
It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about an article, actually two articles that came out this week. Instagram algorithm boosts vast pedophile network, alarming report claims. That is the New York Post. The Washington Post is taking it on a more positive note. Meta starts task force and fight against child pornography on Instagram. So one of them's putting them down and the other one's saying that they're trying to do something about it. Either way, it's got to be done, folks. But more important, my role with you is to help you understand why this is so important. So I want to go on about this because what I want you to understand is that while they're using AI to feed you the stories that you want, the products that you've looked at, that's all called artificial intelligence. And, you know, we've had a lot of fun with this. I had a cousin, elderly cousin. She had some ducks in her backyard. And I told her, and she talks to Siri all day long. You know, it's a roomie. I'm like, cut it out, lady. Do not talk to your roomie and tell them all your private information is being sold. So I gave her a dare. I said, I want you to go to Siri and tell her that you have ducks in your backyard and see if you start getting ducks fed to you on your internet. Because, and you might play that game, find something really odd and different and see if it happens. But that is algorithms. I mean, they track everything about you. And it is the way it's going to be. Everything around us is like that. You know, surveillance cameras, your refrigerator tracks how many times it's open and closed. Your car tracks where you're at and when you stop and what businesses you stop in front of. It is going to get worse. There will be no privacy whatsoever. I was reading, I've changed story on you a minute here, but I was reading about money laundering. And I was reading about it from China, and they were saying that in China, there are over 700 million surveillance cameras in China, 700 million and 1.69 billion cell phones, all recording data about the people and building profiles. Well, it's certainly not that sophisticated with a pedophile, but think about it a minute. If you're on Instagram and your hashtag goes out into a category that is attractive to a pedophile, itty bitty bikini, hot cam girls, things like that, you are automatically going to be given out more access by bad guys than if you're on, the Holy Bible or something. So it's how it is, folks. I can't tell you that you can stop it. The world has moved on without us. They don't really value our opinion. I think that's why I started out with reading you about this. I call him Ramaswamy's statement. By the way, I encourage you, he doesn't know I know him, but I encourage you to look him up and read those 10 things. It's just refreshing to see somebody that gets back to basics. Anyway, I'm going to get on with my story here. So Instagram, the company said that they went through and ran their algorithms. Now, it's a fascinating thing on this running of the algorithms. The truth is they could have done this all along. I'll tell you why I know that. In 2020, there was a company called Pornhub, and they were the largest porn site in America. Actually, it might be the world at that point. They had some incredible amount of viewers and had more than 13 million pornography videos. And so what happened is they got sued. There's some laws now that say if a minor is in their system, and they're being violated, that they can sue. The parent can go along and sue the company and force them to take it down. And they got over $500 million worth of lawsuits. It was under a subsidiary called Girls Do Porn. And so in literally what happened is Facebook MasterCharge refused to process any more credit cards for them. I would like to tell you that they were really upstanding about doing that. But the truth is, if you've got a client that's got $500 million worth of lawsuits, you're not doing it in an altruistic manner. You're trying to protect your behind. And that's what is happening here. But the minute they took it down, it was December 10th, 2020. In 5 days, they were able to run the algorithm of literally hundreds of millions of followers, and also all their videos, and take down anything that was referring to child pornography, called CSAM, child sexual abuse materials. And in doing so, it was over 75% of their total inventory was child material. And they had to take down over 9 million videos. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and say that they were advertising that you could make money, and many of our kids, not mine, but many kids out there, decided to make their own child pornography. And that's one of the discussions you need to have, mom and dad, especially if you have a teenager. But even before, if they have a device, you set them down and say, you take your picture, you're under 18. And if that's an erotic picture, you just manufactured child pornography. And if you're sharing it, you're distributing it. They just had a case back in, I think it was Georgia today, where a 13-year-old was actually arrested for doing that. Now, you're not seeing a lot of arrests, but that's what is happening. Anyway, Pornhub actually had to take down more than 75% of their inventory, more than 9 million videos. And they did that in 5 days when MasterCharge Visa came to them and said, we're shutting you off, there's too many lawsuits. So that tells you that if they can go through their entire inventory and remove 70% of it, they can do it. It isn't that they don't have the capacity. They haven't had the motivation or the will to do that in the past until the lawsuits reached a level that forced them into doing that. So that is really an eye-opener for you and me, mom and dad, to understand exactly how all of this works. So if you're on Instagram, then you're doing it by hashtag. And if you're into a questionable hashtag, or your kid is, there will be bad guys doing that. Now, according to this, they finally capitulated. I'm talking about Instagram. They went in and disabled almost 500,000 accounts in there, and blocked more than 29,000 devices in order to be able to address this problem. And they took down 27 networks that spread abusive content on its platforms from 2020 to 2022. So that tells you they can do it when they're absolutely faced with it. And they could have done it all along. And the truth is, they probably have marketing departments that watch the trends on particular hashtags. And if they're in the top performers, they're actually feeding it out there. So the truth is, yes, that's true. Everything that you read in that is true. And in the next section, and I can tell right now this is going to be a 2-part series, folks. But in the next section, we're going to talk about Grindr, which is the largest LGBTQI gay site. We'll talk a little bit about TikTok, and we'll talk about Discord and Roblox, because all of those organizations, all of those app companies, and even some of the smaller ones that you've never heard about, are literally doing exactly what we talk about. And it does attract pedophiles, especially an app like Grindr. And I really want to talk about that in depth, because I just heard this week that there is a term now being put out there by the LGBTQ community that suggests that the word grooming or groomer is a slur. And I want to address that in the next section, because I have a book called Seduced: The Grooming of America's Teenagers. And I really hate to see that word be considered a slur, because the very nature of that is going to make LGBTQ community very, very gullible, very vulnerable, really, to being exploited. Now, I know many, many fine people that are LGBTQ gay. And I have some of my family that I love dearly. I have some good friends that I love dearly. But what I don't want to see is anybody of any sexual preference, any gender, any identity be exploited. And if we are not allowed to talk about the grooming process, you are going to see more people than ever be exploited. And that just breaks my heart. We have to teach our children how they can be at risk, regardless of their gender preference or their identity, and how to protect themselves from bad guys. There are bad guys out there of all kinds of natures, and they are not going to stop because we quit using the word grooming. This is Opal. I'll be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited: Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced: The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited: Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited: Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited: Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. We're the president of Million Kids, millionkids.org. I hope you'll take the time to go to millionkids.org, look us up, learn about us. Maybe if you're interested, we'd appreciate it if you could support our work financially. If you can't, that's okay. We appreciate you just listening. But everything that anybody can help us with is always greatly appreciated. This is a small grassroots organization. We've been doing this 15 years. I was thinking the other day that we're nearing probably around 700,000 people that we have educated over our time, and just some great people that work with me and kids. We do a lot of Zoom training that is open to the public starting in the fall. And I have cut back quite a bit on my public presentations just because of my schedule and the fact that I'm doing some specialty kind of curriculum development for first responders. But I do want to remind you that if you're interested in attending a public event, we will be speaking publicly on Monday night, this coming Monday night, June 26th at 6:30 at Dale Senior Center at 3936 Chestnut Drive. All of this is at millionkids.org. Also, it's on our Million Kids Facebook page. Yeah, we have a Facebook page. It's IE Million Kids. That's because they took us off the original Million Kids about 5 years ago because we were supporting Proposition 20. But anyway, they've green-lighted us. We're back on. We've only got about 8,000 followers now. We used to have tens of thousands of followers and like that. So I want to remind you, and I hope that you will come out this Monday night. You don't have to be from Riverside. This is open to the public. And it's put on by Stand Up Riverside, which is a political organization, I think. I don't know. They're friends of mine, so I don't know a lot about that organization. But I speak at all kinds of organizations on both sides of the aisle, if you will. I try not to be political, but there are some legislative things taking place in California that really need to be addressed to make child sex crimes a serious crime, to make human trafficking a serious crime. It is not in California. Those of you that listened last week, we had Lauren Siegel on, Dr. Siegel, friends of ours. And, in his case, he had a convicted felon hiding in the backseat of his car with a gun and 4 knives. And he was out. He was out on bail for that case. He had also done the neighbors next door the night before that without anybody realizing it. In the end, he had to be let go because of California law. Later, he was picked up with weapons and he was doing an armed robbery. And finally, he's in jail and the law allows that. But we need to understand what is taking place in California. And that's some of what we're going to talk about. But we're also going to talk about how you can kind of bulletproof your own kid and keep your kids safe. So again, Monday night, 6:30, Dale Senior Center, or go to millionkids.org. Well, I want to come back this next week. We're going to go deep into all of the ways that apps like Grindr, which is a dating site for the LGBTQ community, and how they use not only hashtags or at least algorithms, but also geolocation to pair up people that live close to each other. We're going to talk a little bit about TikTok Thought. That is the pornographic version of TikTok. If you see your child on TikTok Thought, THOT, I went on it one day. I am not a wuss. I work with child sex crimes. I'll tell you, I am not old enough to see TikTok Thought. It was quite the deal. We talk about Discord and Roblox and how they do their algorithms and like that. And we're also going to talk about the newest trend in overseas telemarketing companies that are sextorting our kids. But I want to close out today with this issue because I believe we're just getting started. This issue of AI deep fakes that are going on right now. And I have several FBI alerts in front of me that I want to share with you. So FBI is warning the public of malicious actors creating synthetic content. That's the FBI fancy word for deep fakes. It's by manipulating benign photographs or videos to target the victims. So they basically, those are fancy words for saying they take your kid's photo, post it out there, and they Photoshop it for all intents and purposes. What they do is they will take an innocent photo, and it can be any child of any age, and put it on the body of somebody else. And this is taking place a lot with foreign national telemarketing companies. Now, next week, I'm going to get deep into that because these companies that are, as the entire world is connected by internet, so are the bad guys. And then as you begin to go into places like Nigeria and the Ivory Coast and Pakistan and Philippines and Malaysia and Belize, these people are putting their children in call centers and forcing them to seduce and blackmail our children. And if they can't get a real photo out of them, they can take a photo online and cut the head off and put it on a body. And how many of their friends are going to listen when your kid says, hey, that's not me? They don't listen because that's the way it works. And this is happening more and more, according to the FBI. This alert came out June 5th from the FBI. And they're saying that this AI-enabled content creation and also the accessibility of artificial intelligence, meaning the profile of your child that's out there, they can use this. And what they're after is money. Now, we've often talked about sextortion. A lot of sextortions, they want more photos. That's because they're feeding them into those darknet sites. But in this case, these are third world countries that are getting their kids to do this. And in this case, they want money, maybe $1,500, $3,500, a lot of money. And they're ruthless until the kid just absolutely comes apart. By the way, I saw an interesting article this week. It wasn't deep fakes or pornography. It was elder scams. But down in Mexico, the cartels went in to a telemarketing center where there were 8 teenagers working there. And they were running these elder scams, these Social Security scams out of that telemarketing center. And the 8 kids decided they wanted to quit because they felt like it was a scam and they didn't want to be a part of it. And the cartels came in and murdered every one of those 8 children. So we can't just assume that these are bad guys who want to do bad to our children. In some of these very difficult, violent communities, they pay a price for trying to get out of it. And so the bottom line for us is we better start right now bulletproofing our kid. Before your kid ever goes online, they need to understand the world we're putting them into. They need to understand about the dark web and about child pornography rings and about algorithms and about deep fakes and who is online with them. And I would suggest to you that you get a contract with your kid right now. Number one, they never, ever will send any kind of photo out that can be manipulated. I always say never send anything online you wouldn't give to your grandma. That's a great place to start right there. And number two, if you get in there and they start to blackmail you, you will tell and you can work it out together. And number three, that you will never, ever, ever go out and meet up with one of those people. And please don't even consider once taking your own life. Come to us. Let us work it out together. This is a partnership that we're into of putting you on the World Wide Web with all the things that are out there that can get a kid. And we're going to do this together. It's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust them. And so it's going to be you and me against the world, baby, if you go online, and I'm going to be right there with you. And we're going to be sure that you can enter in a world of technology where you can stay safe and you can be smart and you can be a leader and that you don't get hurt. That's the thing that's so important, Mom and Dad. Well, my name is Opal Singleton. Our organization is Million Kids, millionkids.org. Been around 15 years. We're a local company, although we work all across the nation. And we do a whole lot in California and a whole lot in the Inland Empire. I hope you'll come out and see us on Monday night at 26 at 6:30 at the Dale Senior Center in Riverside. You don't have to be from Riverside to be there, but please go on to our website and click on. So if you want to pre-register, they'd appreciate it. It's not necessary. You can just show up, but they'd like to know how many people are coming. So go on to millionkids.org and it's on there and you can click on it like that. I want you to know how much you mean to me. And I mean that with all my heart. I meet you out in the public, and this is tough business. And to see the people that are walking alongside of us in our work, we love you all, and we appreciate your support. You folks have a great week. Take care of your family. Give them a big hug. We'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.